Welcome back, it's Nine, and today we are going over some more PlayStation 5 news. We are discussing how Sony is expecting the PS5 to outsell the PS4 in the first fiscal year. We are discussing why Sony didn't allow Japanese media to see the PS5's user interface. We will be talking about how a developer is saying that the PS5 and the Series X is the biggest leap he has ever seen. And lastly, we'll be discussing how Sony is working on virtual surround sound implementation for the PS5. Now, before we get into that, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, and hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton. Now let's get right into it, starting with a tweet that came from Daniel Ahmad at ZHugeX. Guys, you know this guy, he's had a lot of information, he's said a lot of different things. So when he tweets out something, I usually take it, confidently. I think that what he says usually has validity to it. Anyway, he says, Jim Ryan, the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, said in an interview with Korean media that he expects PS5 to sell more in its first fiscal year than PS4. Second round of pre-orders for PS5 will open in Korea on October 7th at noon. So here's the thing, right? And we've talked about the PS5. We've talked about how it's going to be a huge success. We've discussed how I think that it could surpass the PS2 in sales, and I stand by that. I think it has an amazing launch lineup. Regardless of some of those games being on a PS4, we can't deny that it does have a good launch lineup, but it obviously does have, like Demon's Souls, for example, that is going to be console exclusive, and we also have Godfall, which is also another console exclusive. So there's a lot on the PS5 that's going to sell units. Now, obviously, we know that the console sold out. We know that, it's not easy to get a hold of one, and we know that it's probably going to be tough to get a hold of one for the first year or so. So it doesn't surprise me that the PS5 is going to sell ridiculous numbers, and I can't wait to see just what those numbers look like at the end of the generation. I still stand by my thoughts that it's going to seriously dominate the competition. I really think that the PlayStation 5 is something else. I think that people are going to be surprised by just how many good games it's going to get, and we know that there's a lot of content coming out soon. So really exciting news, and it doesn't surprise me. As I said, I think this is something that we can expect. Now on to the next topic. We are going to be discussing how Sony didn't allow Japanese media to see the PS5's user interface, and this comes from Dengeki Online. Now, this was I believe, Japanese site, so it's going to be tough for me to read that. So what I've done instead is I got an article from Push Square, which has basically translated that for me. A preview published by Dengeki Online reveals that the platform holder kept that feature under wraps, as it didn't allow attendees to play around in the device's menus. It also blocked the create button from being used, so we don't know what features that will bring to the table either. Just 38 days to go, folks. So here's the thing, right? And I know we're all wondering, man, when are we going to see this user interface? And I'm totally with you guys. I think it's crazy that we haven't seen it yet. There's 38 days, actually 37 now, to when we're going to have it in our hands. Is there really even a point of doing this at this point? And I'm going to say one thing here, right? Because obviously we're all thinking it. We're saying, hey, why aren't they showing it? That's kind of strange. Why they wouldn't show what the create button does, why they wouldn't show the user interface. And I'm confident, because they have mentioned it before, that they're going to reveal that in their own way. Now, I personally think it's a little overdue. I truthfully feel this should have been shown to us already. But I will say that I definitely believe they're going to show it. I think they're going to have a whole trailer showcasing. It's going to be a PS blog post. They're going to show the create button. They're going to show the user interface. They want to do it in their way, in their own capacity. They do not want, other people to show that off. Maybe they have a specific way they want to show it off, so people really get a good look at it, And I understand that, because Sony has always gone the professional route when it comes to showcasing and displaying their content or their devices. So I imagine that that's going to continue with the PS5. So I wouldn't be too upset about that. I think we're going to get it soon, and it's just a matter of time. I can imagine that it's got to happen in October. If not this week, I'm thinking next week at latest, but I could be wrong about that as well. And to those who question why we're so obsessed with the user interface, I think you have to understand something. the user interface of the PlayStation barely changes, right? When you get the PS3, there are additions, but it's pretty much the same thing. And same with the PS4. So we're going to be spending a lot of time with this user interface. It's going to show us what features we have outside of just playing games. So it is very important. I know a lot of people like to downplay the importance of the user interface, but I think that not only is it very important, it's important for us to know the product we're buying, right? We've already pre-ordered it. Yeah, there's no question it's going to sell. But as somebody who's pre-ordered the console, I want to know what kind of features this console offers outside of just video games, right? I know video games is the bulk of it, but we can't lie that there's other things that the PlayStation 4 did that kind of enhanced it even further. So I'd love to see just what that entails for the PS5, and I think a lot of people stand with me on that. Now, if you're not interested in the user interface, you're just like, hey, I don't care. I just don't care. I just want to play the games. I don't care at all about this user interface experience. I totally respect it, and I understand that. You know, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I don't think that devalues the importance of the UI and the importance of us seeing the UI, you know, before launch of the console. In my opinion, it's vital, and I think that needs to happen sooner rather than later, and I do believe we will be seeing that in a PlayStation blog post with a trailer of some sort. Anyway, on to our next topic. We're discussing a comment made by Randy Pitchford. This article comes from PSU.com, and it is titled PS5 and Xbox Series X is biggest leap I have ever seen, says Randy Pitchford. Now, this was an interview done with GameSpot originally, and I'll have that in the description for those interested in reading the entire thing. So Gearbox boss said, I think customers will realize how profound of a difference it is to have the throughput capability that these new platforms bring. It's just absolutely unreal. The leap there with the PS5 and Xbox Series X is the biggest leap I have ever seen in the history of console generations. I'm saying including the leap from 2D to 3D, it's going to change the way we think about every bit of our experiences. However, it's going to be hard to see that in the initial launch titles because a lot of the launch titles are games that were endeavored upon before. Frankly, there are a lot of ports and games that have already been available on existing platforms that are being reimagined with these new platforms. So this is just another total reassurance that these new consoles are going to be something else. And it really shows it, right? Like, we've heard so many different devs say that, and it just reassures us, you know, reinforces that thought that, yeah, they're really going to be able to do so much more with next-gen consoles. SSDs do a lot. They really do. They allow for so much more. And if you actually look into it more and you hear about game developers discuss it, you realize just how revolutionary the SSD technology is when it comes to video games. And obviously, we do have more GPU power, CPU power. It's all the same thing, right? Like, we get natural upgrades in that every single generation, and this generation it's going to be a huge leap. And then on top of that, adding SSD, like that's it. That's a wrap. You know that you're going to get an amazing console with an amazing experience. Whether you do go with the PS5 or the Series X, I think that you're going to get a good console build, and hopefully you'll be able to notice that huge difference down the road. Obviously, we talk more about PS5 here, so I'm going to harp more on the PS5 side of things, that I really believe we're going to see some amazing things on a PlayStation 5 platform, and especially with their first-party studios that are just going to create incredible experiences. So, I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait. 37 days. We're really close, guys. We are so close to experiencing next-gen for ourselves, those of us who did get a pre-order in. On to our last topic. This comes from PSU.com, and it is titled, Sony is working on virtual surround sound implementation for PS5. Headphone audio is the current gold standard for 3D audio on PS5, as Mark Cerny mentioned in his Road to PS5 talk in March. We're also in the process of working on virtual surround sound through speakers that are built into TVs. Although TV speaker virtual surround sound won't be available on launch day for PS5, it's still a feature we are extremely excited about, and our engineers are hard at work on bringing it to the PS5 in the future. So here's the thing, right? And I think this is what I love about Sony. They're always looking for ways to innovate, right? So they've done the VR thing, right? They're doing the haptic feedback, like really changing the way the controller works, right? Adding things to the controller that we never had. So revolutionizing that. And then we see them trying to revolutionize audio as well, you know, with the 3D audio. And now they're talking about virtual surround sound with TV speakers that aren't surround sound. Like, that's the crazy thing, right? Like, they're going to help increase the quality of your speakers and what they can do. So I think it's great to see that Sony's so focused on audio as well, because it is an important part of the gaming landscape, right? Like, audio plays a huge role. We talk about how music is huge as well. Like, a game is not the same without the soundtrack. It really adds on to it. Same with films and any other type of medium like that. So it's interesting to see that Sony is so focused on increasing the quality and the immersion of every single aspect of video games, which is why I love the PlayStation platform so much and why I really appreciate their efforts that they put into creating better experiences for us in the long run. I'm going to pass this on to you guys, and there's a lot to talk about here, so I look forward to seeing all of your comments. Number one, do you think that the PS5 is actually going to outsell the PS4 in its first fiscal year, even given the shortages in stock? What do you think is going on with the UI situation for the PS5? Why haven't we seen it? What do you think of the leap from PS4 to PS5 and Xbox One X to Series X? Do you think it's really going to be as big as Randy Pitchford believes it's going to be? And lastly, how do you feel about Sony's attempts to revolutionize the audio landscape when it comes to video games? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, and hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton. Follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description, and share this video with a friend. I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care.